Hi everyone. Thought I'd do a video about just stuff in general. For example, I'm growing this year. I had like a year off. I didn't grow much because my dad had passed away from pancreatic cancer, as many of you already know, if you watched my video about it. But I am growing. For some reason, I live in the Central Valley of California. I don't know if it's just the area that I live in. We're kind of new to the area. We've been here a decade plus, but we're still new to the area. I was born and raised in another area, but I seem to be having issues with my plants, and I cannot figure out what it is. All of my pepper plants, okay, I'll just stick with the pepper plants for now. All of my pepper plants, my super hot pepper plants, when they begin to sprout, they sprout fine. They put out the first and the second set of leaves fine. And they begin to look like they're flourishing pretty nice. And all of a sudden, God, I would say the second or third set of leaves, true leaves, they start to curl. Now, I've been lazy, I have to admit, because I know there's such things as microscopes and little magnifiers that you can examine the leaves. I haven't done that. I've been lazy. I should just get off my butt and do it. But I'm suspecting that it's insect or some sort of infestation. I can't see anything, so they must be pretty small. But what it does is it takes the leaf and it curls it inward. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's just weird. And at a certain point, you'll touch the leaf and it'll get crispy. It's almost like it was burned. A lot of you guys out there are probably better at growing than I am. I'm not a super green thumb. I don't have a lot of knowledge in the garden. I kind of wing it, you know. I logic things out, or I'll experiment, or maybe I'll jump online real quick and do a quick investigation of whatever it is. But for the most part, it's not a forte. It's not something that I'm expert at. So, I mean, a lot of guys out there are just whizzes at growing stuff. I'll give an example. The Smiths out there in Australia. Neil, Charlotte, the Smiths. Neil's been doing it for a while. He and Charlotte just got together, but he has a lot of success. But I think it's mostly because he does a lot of mixing of his own ingredients. He'll take a bunch of stuff and put it together, and it seems to be working out for him. Plus, he does the bokashi. I believe he has a worm farm, so he gets fresh worm casings and worm excrement, if you will, pee. So he does a lot of natural style kind of growing methods. I need to incorporate some of that, but I don't know. I've just had a bunch of bad luck with my peppers lately. I don't know what the heck it is. A lot of things in the garden don't flourish as well as I think they should. I'm not sure if it's, like I say, my area, but at the risk of looking or sounding conspiratorial, I think they're spraying stuff. Look up. This stuff started back in the 90s. I've always been a kind of guy that I was an airplane lover. I'd never flown personally, myself, but I like flying, and I've always looked up, and when I see an aircraft, I'll look up, and all throughout my childhood, I looked up, and I never saw these long trails that that lingered. All the trails that I ever remember seeing as a child, they disappeared quick. Within, I mean, literally, no longer than 2-3 minutes. Even faster. I mean, as fast as they would lay the trail would disappear. That's a normal condensation trail, as I have been made to understand condensation trail, which is basically the engine exhaust at that height creates water crystals, water vapor, whatever you want to call it. That's what it's called. Sorry. And that's what you see, a line. And it looks like a big puffy cloud. But it dissipates. It gets eaten up by the blue. You know, if you're looking up on a blue day, the trail will be laid, but the plane will be going a certain direction, and it will just, the blue sky seems to eat up the white trail left behind the plane. Not anymore. These trails stick around. I've investigated it myself. I've looked at CaliforniaSkywatch.com. God, I can't remember the lady's name. Rosalind Peterson. And Rosalind Peterson has been researching and investigating this phenomenon for years, a decade or more. And there is something to it. There have been air samples taken. Things are in the air that should not be, like metals. What else? I've heard of some nasty stuff too. Human cells. Oh, just kind of weird conspiratorial stuff. So, but you best check it out. Check it out. But I guess my point, I digressed a little bit. I'm leading up to, maybe it's something in the air. I don't know. All I know is my plants have been acting weird. They have not flourished like they usually do. They are growing. You know, they still grow, just like we're still breathing. But we're probably not, you know, aging as well as we could be, because if we had fresher air, we would have a better environment to sustain our lives. Right now, it seems to me that we have a polluted environment, and I kind of started this video just to see where it would end up, and I thought about gardening, and I guess it's going to end up in conspiracies, but I really do believe that something's going on up there on any given day all around the world. And if you check it out, people in UK are doing YouTube videos about this and all kinds of stuff. Something's going on. I have no clue what it is. No clue. I have my own personal opinions based on what I've researched and read and investigated, and, you know, the little rabbit trails that I go down. But to put a finger on it, I really don't know. But I do know that I'm having some interesting experiences with the garden. And it's probably just my area. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about some of my thoughts about plants being affected by whatever's coming down on us in the air? What are your thoughts? I really would appreciate some other input, and I'll make sure to read my comments on this video. But I'm really curious as to how many others of you out there are concerned about seeing tic-tac-toe boards in the sky. Tic-tac-toe boards. Literally. And they don't go away, man. They get big, they swell up, then they obscure the sky on a perfectly nice blue day. And all of a sudden it'll be hazy, white, almost like there's a smoke in the air. But there's not. There wasn't. It started out to be a beautiful day or whatever. What are your thoughts? I'm really interested, because I think something's up. And I'm not saying that to use it as a pun, even though it is, something's up. But something's up, and I'm concerned. I have a couple kids, 3 kids. I'm worried about what the heck they're breathing. What am I breathing? You know, did a lot of this stuff inhibit my father's cancer cells to grow, or to speed up, to metastasize faster? You know, I know cancer's that's a big thing lately. It's always in the news. There's many people dying of cancer. I figure I'll die of cancer. My dad died of cancer. I think a lot of us are going down via the environment. We're being killed slowly. That I know that's a far-fetched statement, but you got to think about it. Slow poisoning is slow poisoning, and I don't give a darn what type of poisoning it is. It could be with arsenic, you know, and you could accidentally be poisoning yourself with arsenic every day. And as I understand it, arsenic is something that will collectively build into your system until it builds to a point to where it can kill you. Collectively speaking, that's what's happening with all this junk coming down on us, or being foisted upon us in our environment via crop dusting, chemicals in the crop dusting, chemicals to kill bugs, kill weeds, whatever. The genetically modified stuff, I don't like it, but I'm sure I'm eating it, and how can you not these days? It's in everything. So, to the best of my ability, I try not to, but for the most part, we're at the mercy of the providers. And I kind of feel a little insecure knowing that I'm being slow killed. And I'd just like to know some of your all thoughts about that, about my gardening issues. Thanks. Thanks for listening to me. In the meantime, in between time, keep looking up and keep asking questions, because that's what makes us different than the animal kingdom. You know what I mean? Ask questions. Always question, because if you don't, you deserve what you get if you just let it happen. Take care.